My relationship with Florence began many, many years ago when Miss Simmons, as I called her then, helped me open my first bank account at the Bank of Nova Scotia. I wish I had used her as my investor instead. Over the next 60 years, Florence and I became the best of friends. We shared a keen interest in the city history. She was somewhat interested in its architecture, its residents, and the general going on. In later years, when Florence with no family left at all around her, our friendship turned to Florence wanting some help to sell her car, which, by the way, was 10 years old and had 8,000 kilometers on it. Then her home, to help her make the move from Haviland Street and eventually to Whisperwood Villa. Settling into the seniors living in Whisperwood, Florence met many people and continued very much the same lifestyle. She was able to play the piano, had the city to mix and had the people to mix and mingle with. It was during that period the very private Florence said to me, "I can't believe how nice and friendly people are." I told her that people are generally all nice and that she just has finally allowed people to come into her life to understand her. She agreed. I received a call one morning at 5 a.m. From the nursing home, and they said that Florence had gone into cardiac arrest and that there was a no resuscitation order. They just were going to make her comfortable. I thanked them for calling, went back to bed, and then I thought, nobody should be left to leave this world alone. I arrived at the nursing home. Florence was setting up in the bed with a mask on, quickly recognized me, and said hello. Without thinking, I removed the mask and asked what she wanted, not understanding the medical danger of that. I said to her, "Florence, do you want to be left alone to go home to Jesus and stay and have Christmas turkey?" Without hesitation, missing a beat, she said, "I'll take the turkey." During the same year, Florence suffered a severe break of the hip and shoulder, and once again survived the operation and returned to the nursing home. It was there that she found one of her best gifts, or one of her most, I guess, precious gifts, Anne Campbell and Linda Williams, who was not with us tonight, as well as the backup staff to look after her round-the-clock care. They very quickly became her caregivers, her lifeline to most of all, and to her her friend. To them I say thank you. You made the last part of her journey a joyous one. One evening as I was visiting, I found Florence's voice very weak, and again, as usual, I took over. I'll do the talking, Florence. You need only answer yes or no. Without missing a beat, she looked and whispered, "Don't you always?" In the end, nothing slipped by her. For those of us who stayed with Florence until the end, we received a gift of observing someone who went ever so quietly and peacefully into the night. Over the years, Holland College has experienced Florence's generosity. However, it wasn't until the last few years of her life that Florence's relationship began with the Holland College School of Performing Arts, and it started with her piano, which, by the way, is here tonight. Maria Driscoll, a good friend of mine, was the coordinating director of the School of Performing Arts at the time. While having our regular Tuesday lunch, the issue of Florence and her piano came into the conversation. Florence was very concerned about what would happen to her piano when she moved to Whisperwood. Maria very quickly took over, saying, "The school doesn't have a piano. We'd love to have it, and it would be used by the students. Would Florence consider our option?" For Florence, it certainly was an option. Maria met and visited with Florence and thanked her and reassured her that her piano would be well taken care of. As Florence's world continued to narrow the last few years of her life, the School of Performing Arts and the talk about the new performance hall became a focal point of her life. She was keenly interested in the school, the students, and with her magnifying glass in hand, she read every word she could about the school, and in her conversations and visits with Maria and myself, she always asked for updates and wanted to know how the students were getting along. A memorable event for Florence took place on her 97th birthday. To mark the day, Alan, Maria, Max, and Sherry arrived at Whisperwood with a birthday gift of music. It turned into a concert for all the residents. Florence thoroughly enjoyed it, even getting up to play a piece that she had written herself. For her, it was a chance to sit and chat at the piano with Max Kinglyside and hear firsthand how her beloved piano was played and practiced on many times during every day. Florence once remarked to me that the School of the Performing Arts and the people she met because of it had added a great deal to her life. Never one to have wanted or would have wished to have much fuss made about her. Florence truly enjoyed the part of the school and the development of the Performance Center. The gift of $700,000 from Florence Simmons made to Holland College was specifically for the School of the Performing Arts, for the renovation and the construction of this hall. Florence enjoyed knowing that she was making a significant contribution to a performance and training space for performing artist students, as well as a place that would serve as a resource for creative initiatives for the school, music, and the arts community of this city. To provide ongoing support for the school, she established the Florence Simmons Memorial Trust. Each year, as long as the school exists, this fund will provide scholarships and bursaries to SOFA students. In fact, this year, seven trained and deserving students from Prince Edward Island, the Maritimes, Ontario, United States, and the Bahamas have received financial assistance for their education from Florence. In addition to the scholarships, the Memorial Fund will also go towards preparing programs and helping to fund them that the school wishes to put on. I'd like to say at this time, too, I hope the people that are involved will continue to make that trust or endowment grow, because the only way buildings like this survive, they're wonderful to build, they're paid for, this one is, but it needs an endowment. We can't go to government and I think a lot of other sources. So I'd like to see some people take over, whether it's the alumni or whatever, and make every effort to see that that trust grows. That's just my own personal feeling. In closing, it has been said, each vanished person leaves us something, and we feel that inheritance when we think about them. In the case of Florence Simmons, she left us this beautiful hall and so much more. The citizens of Charlottetown, the residents of Prince Edward Island, and particularly the performing arts students who will train and perform here are better because Florence Simmons walked among us for 100 years.